to show you how I inventory my new stamps. So I've got some new Unity stamps here. I do this a couple of ways. I go to the website and I will get the screen capture of the stamp I'm buying. For instance, I bought these stamps. One other one that I bought, though, that I waited to show you is a deer stamp. So I'm going to open this up. This is the deer stamp that I bought. So I can do a screen capture. Now that's going to go onto my desktop. The other thing you can do is scan. So I've got my little deer stamp here, and I'm going to put it onto the scanner. I'm going to take the stamp off of the little carry sheet because I don't want the bulk of the stamp to interfere with my scanning. So I'm going to put it onto I'm going to open up my scanning software. I'm using a Brother multifunction scanner. So it's going to do a scan of the stamped image. So first off, to do an inventory, I don't need a very high resolution. 100 will do because I'm just looking at it on the screen. I will select the size of the stamp I want, and I can move that around if I haven't gotten my stamp very square on my glass. And now I can give it a name, Unity, and the name for you, dear. All right, I'm going to scan that. Now, if I go into my pictures folder, I should see the scan, and there it is. Now I can put my stamp back on this carry sheet. The next thing I'm going to do is give my stamp an inventory number. So this is a Christmas stamp, so I'm going to put Christmas 098. I'm going to put the title, which is For You Dear. I'm going to put Unity is who makes the stamp. That's how that guy gets his inventory. Now over here, I have my Unity stamp file. So any Unity stamp I own is inventoried right here. So I'm going to move my new stamp into here. Now the way I keep my stamps inventoried, I put tags on them. When I add a tag, that is how I look up my stamps. So for instance, this is a Christmas stamp, so I have a special tag for that. I have a tag that all of my craft items go under, which is crafts. Then I have the company that makes it, which is Unity. Then I have categories such as animal. This is an animal stamp because it's a deer. The other thing is it has sentiments in it because it has just for you, dear, and joyful wishes. So I put sentiment. So I know that there's actual word sentiment stamps in there. So now that he has his tags on him, which you can do that on a Microsoft computer as well, let me show you how I would go look that up. So I come to my computer and I want to know if I have a deer stamp. So I keep all of my inventory over on my Lacy drive. I have a special Lacy drive, 8 terabyte drive that all of my stamps are on. So I have Tim Holt stamps, I have Close to My Heart stamps, I have digital stamps such as Connie Fung, And here's all my close to my heart stamps, for instance. So my stamps and dies are all listed in here. And so these are the categories, for instance, I was telling you. This one is a Christmas stamp. It's under crafts because all of my craft supplies that are inventoried on my computer have that tag. It goes under stamps because it's a stamp as opposed to a die. It's by close to my heart. There's foliage in this one. There's also a background or a border stamp in here, which is this. I have an angel. That one's that. And it has sentiments like these ones. Merry Christmas, rejoice. I open up my Lacy drive and I do a search. Okay, I want a Christmas stamp. I want an animal. I want a stamp. All right, now I happen to know that its inventory number is 097. So when I come down here, look what's here, or 098, sorry. I can whittle it down to, I only want to see stamps with sentiments in it as well. So I can go up here to my search and I can do Christmas and stamps. And I only want to see sentiment stamps and an animal. I want it to have an animal in it. And so every stamp I own that has an animal in it is going to come up here. And here is my deer. Okay, so let's go and put some more stamps in. Okay, let's put in this flamingo guy. Now I know that he's going to fit in my 098 package, so I can go ahead and give him the 098. And the name of that stamp set is called Flamingo into Retirement. Flamingo into Retirement. And it is by Unity. So I'm going to move him over here now. I'm going to make this window big so we can see all about it. This is the stamp. Now I want to put my tags in so that I can look this guy up. This is a crafts inventory item. It is a stamp. It is by Unity Stamp Company. It has sentiments in it, without a doubt. It's got lots. It also has an animal in it. And then I can do different things like, for instance, retirement. This job is got sentiments about jobs and retirement. That's pretty much the entire thing, I believe, but let me double check. So that's about work, 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 retirement. It's all about retirement. Although I could put travel here because, you could give this card, kind of rude that you're leaving, but okay, to someone who is going on a trip without you. So I could put it under travel. That way, if I wanted to give a card to somebody who was going to travel, I could throw that in there as well. But let us go back out to the main Lacy drive, go into search bar up here. I want a stamp, and I want a stamp with an animal. And I want it to have a sentiment because I need something to put on the card. All right, now I can go and look through all of the ones there. Let's say I know that it's about a job. And now these all have sentiments that I would use about a job, and they all have an animal in it. This one has birds, this has many animals, And so, and now I have a new one that is about job. So you can see how easy it is for me to find my stamps. I can, if I know, hey, I remember that I've got a stamp that's going to meet my needs and it was from Unity, I can either go to the Unity file or I can just search for my Unity stamps. And there's all my Unity stamps. It's very simple for me to be able to find the stamps I want whenever I want them. I can find stamps about food. So any stamp that I have that has food in it, it's going to be on here. Or says anything about food, like this one, thanks a latte. I can say I want a stamp with flowers. I put all my flowers under foliage. That way, if it's a tree, if it's a plant, if it's a flower, it's all under the one category foliage. So now all of my stamps that have foliage will come up here. Anything that has foliage. So I can, if I know I'm looking for a flower stamp, I can just run through. Now, you can get as detailed as you want in your description with as many tags as you want, as the limit of your computer, basically. Yeah, anything. So if I want to work with my art philosophy cartridge today, I can just click art philosophy and every stamp set I own that works with art philosophy is going to come up here. Isn't that cool? I will also get out some stamp containers and give you a look at that as well. So once I have my stamps in my computer, now I go to my last stamp container. So let me show you that. I was storing my stamps in DVD containers, and that works absolutely, but the problem for me was it takes up a lot of room. So I switched over to these packages, and they're just a stack of plastic packages that I get from Amazon. And what I do is I cut up scrap plastic. Now this is plastic that comes on the front of packages. It is in the front of boxes that have windows on, so I cut that out. Any place I can get a piece of plastic. And I cut them to 5 by 7. Then I put my next inventory number on, and I load my stamps on. I can get so many. So for instance, here I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 stamp sets there. Here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 on this side of the box. And I got 14 right here. So it takes up a heck of a lot less room to store them this way than this way. All right. Now I've got my stamp piece of plastic that I'm going to store them on. I've labeled it, and I've labeled with just my labeler my package. So, oh, actually, I realized I just put that on the wrong side. Anyway, so now once I have that ready to go, I'm going to take the stamps and put them on here. Now, a couple things I want to tell you. Unity stamps come on foam. And if you want to leave them on the foam, that's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I personally like to have my stamps unmounted. I feel like they take up less room if they're unmounted. Now, it just so happens, though, that I am out of Aleene's Tack It Over. And that's what I use to put the sticky on the back once I take this foam off. You can see a video that I did about that. So my unmounted stamps video is episode 4. I can store a lot more stamps if they are unmounted because they're so much thinner, right? For instance, this package, I've got stamps. This is just a carrier sheet that came with one of the sets. I've got stamps on this side and this side. These were foam mounted and now they're not. They have Aleene's Tack It Over on them. And I can fill both sides of this sheet with stamps. If I leave them foamed up, then that means I'm only going to be able to use one side. All right, so until I buy some more Tack It Over, I am leaving them on the foam. I can change that out later. I already inventoried this little guy, and so I will put him in here. And I will just leave that in there. I'm just going to leave that carrier sheet in there. If for one thing, I will put this into my stamp positioner. I will get this lined up on the card if I want to put it in a particular position. I get it lined up on the card, and then I can set my stamp down on it because I know it's a perfect match. And then I can close the window and pick up my stamp. So that is the reason I do keep these carrier sheets, as you saw in that last package. All right, so now I'm going to stick that into my inventory number 98 package. And he is ready to go into my case. Now, like I said, once I defoam these guys, I can put a couple of sets into that package. That is how I inventory my stamps when I get them. I put them in the computer, I put them in my cases, and hopefully I won't make you sick here. I'm going to take this around and show you. I can store a lot of stamp sets. So on this one side here, there's 32 and there's room for more. 32 stamp sets just on this side. Close to My Heart came with a little plastic snap that closed it. But that snap meant that I could only put 10 per section here, which means I could only get 20 on this side. Now that I have taken off the snap and I've made my own closure, so I can put 40 on a side now instead of 20. So I did that with all of my Close to My Heart stamps. And that way I can get 80 into a box now. And I used to do all of my stamps in these DVD cases. But again, a lot of room in there. So now I'm switching them over to these packages. And that's going to give me a lot more stamp storage room. If I have stamps that come with a die set, the stamp and die goes into the package. So this one came with this die set. And the other thing I actually mentioned in the video is that I keep all my Christmas ones separate. So I have all my Close to My Heart ones in here, and the last Close to My Heart ones there. And then I have my other ones in DVDs that are getting switched over to the little plastic bags as well. So it's a bit of a job, but it's going to really reduce the amount of space my stamps take up. So as you can see there, I can get a heck of a lot of stamps in there, like 80 into one of those guys, right? Instead of 40. So that is a huge change for me. All right, hopefully I covered everything you would need to know to set your own storage up. It's so much easier. I don't have to stamp each stamp and put it in a binder and then search through a binder to find out what stamp I want. I type a keyword into my computer and every stamp that fits that keyword comes up. It's so quick and easy. I absolutely love having my storage this way. I do the same with my embossing folders, same with all my dies. I put a scan of my die into my computer. I give it all the tags. In fact, let me just show you all of those on my computer. I'll be right back. Okay, so let me give you a bit of an overview here. So for instance, Tim Holtz has dies, stamps, and stencils. So here are my, let me just make this window a bit bigger for you. Okay, so here is a set of dies I have. So I just took a picture, sorry, not a picture, a scan of the front of the packaging from the dies. I put in here exactly what this is. For instance, this has sentiments. Helps if I can spell. That's sentiments. So I know that this is Christmas. I know it's sentiments. I know it's by Tim Holtz, and I can look it up that way. This is a stamp set. So it has all of the different tags that I use for these stamps. Tim Holtz, Stampers Anonymous, it's inspirational. There's inspirational quotes there. Christmas, scripty stamp, sympathy, birthday, thank you. This one is by Stampers Anonymous. It is a stamp. It has foliage, animals, borders and backgrounds. So all of my Tim Holtz is in this file, and along with even his, these are some stamp sets that I took the stamp if I didn't have a carrier sheet or packaging, and I did stamp those. Then I cut them out and used them. Same with the accessories. Then if there's one that I do have a carrier sheet, like this one, I just scan that in. Now I even have my stencils here, my Tim Holtz stencils. So dies, stencils, stamps, doesn't matter. I put them in here. For instance, you will also see, like this is a dot studio file for silhouette because I scanned this bird crazy in and I set it up so that I can cut them out with my silhouette. Here is searching. So if I want to search for embossing folders, here I've got some embossing folders in here. So again, when the embossing folder arrives, I simply scan the packaging. I also have, so here's Gina K. So my Gina K stamps, my Gina K dies, the master layouts dies, the stencils, and actually if there's instructions for a kit I bought, I have that scanned in as well. So it's simple for me to look up master layouts, for instance. I can just type in master layouts and every master layout die set I have will come in here. Very simple, easy for me, snowflakes. So whether it's stencils, embossing folders, dies, stamps, doesn't matter. I can just go to my computer and I type in a search window what I'm looking for, whether it be alphabets or a heart or whatever. I can quickly look it up and it takes no time at all. It takes seconds for me to look up an item. And every item that fits in the category I typed in will be there. I can go through, I can see which one I want. I get the inventory number off of there. So for instance, this is close to my heart, it's D1755. I simply go over to my box that has D1755 in it and pick it out because I know this is the one I want to use for my layout or whatever it is. Again, here's all my dies that I have from Close My Heart. So if I'm looking for a die and I want a heart, that's what I'd put up here in the search bar, and that's what would come up. That way I don't have to come to my Close to My Heart folder and look through absolutely everything. I just type up here in the search bar that I want to see only die cuts. So I put in the die cut. Now only stamp sets that have dies or dies will show in this window. So these ones actually have a die with them. Cuts out the ship, cuts out the palm tree. So anything that has anything to do with die is going to come up in this window. It's very easy to inventory anything I get. I don't have to stamp. I don't have to leaf through binders of all my stamps that are stamped. I just go to my computer. And so also if anybody calls me and say, hey, Melita, do you have a stamp of a cactus? I can whip this up in 2 seconds flat. I have it out and at the front door by the time they can drive over to my house. I hope that helps you out. It definitely has been a lifesaver for me to be able to look up my stamps, dies, stencils, anything that has to do with my crafts. I can look it up in an instant. I even have, like if I get a PDF off of the internet that is how to stamp with embossing ink, I will put all my tags onto that PDF. If I put embossing up there, that PDF is going to come up there. So simple, so easy, and it takes absolutely no space in my craft room besides the fact that my stamps are in bins and my computer's on my desk. I hope that helps you guys. I hope it will give you some ideas on how to inventory your crafting supplies and have them easily looked up and gotten onto your craft table within minutes of wanting to craft. All right, have an incredibly crafty day, everyone.